Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I hope your day's off to a mighty fine start or the end, depending on where you are in this great big world of ours. But welcome to Home Built Workshop. Welcome to Wednesday Live, where we are here to hang out, talk about shop stuff, talk about projects, things you're working on. Dallas here. Dallas says, good morning there. Good morning to you. Well, I don't think it's morning probably, but I hope your day is great. As we get settled in here for about an hour of hanging out and just enjoying the time. We are finally getting some nice weather around here. I've actually had a few days where I haven't had the beanie on. If you can imagine it. It's warming up nicely out there right now, and today might be another day where I get the beanie off. Dallas says it's 001. Right on. Dello, how's your project going? Been able to make any progress on it? Alrighty. Sorry, I'm clicking stuff around here to try to make sure I got everything set. For some reason, I always have to reselect the live chat. I can't find it to be like a default or something, so I always gotta remember. Harry Dude's here! Harry Dude says, what's up? Hello, everybody. What's going on, man? How are you doing this fine Thursday morning for you? Dallas says, actually not. I'm prepping some exams, so stopped after attaching the side braces. Yeah, those exams always have to pop up and get you sidetracked, huh? Yeah, they're important. They're important. So, good luck in your exams. I'm sure you're going to do just fine. Then you can get back to the project. Really? There's a fly in here. A fly already. I'll tell you, says, hail to the king. Well, I don't know about that. Let's not go that far. Let's not go that far, but good morning. Thank you for the vote of confidence. Harry Dude says, yep, 1 a.m. Thursday, May the 4th. Be with you. Yeah, as one who's not a Star Wars person, there's going to be a bunch of May the 4th. Well, tomorrow, here anyway. Even the school lunch at the schools, they've named that. I forget the name exactly, but it's something to do with Star Wars. It's kind of funny. May the 4th. Cheers. Harry Dude, what are you working on these days? Are you still fighting with mixers and stage lights and... Right on. Well, around here, if you didn't see, you can sort of see it right there. The Mark II version of the binding tower is complete. That was the video last weekend. Got that thing kind of revamped, modified, made a few changes, and I'm super happy with the way this turned out. And if you haven't seen the video, I'd encourage you to hit up the channel and see the video that came out last weekend, a couple days ago. See what you think of the version 2. It's much... Even though the changes that I made to it are all relatively small, it made a huge difference, I think, in the overall functionality of that thing. So super happy with that. And I do have all the drawings and everything, STL files, all that stuff available on the website. If anybody wants to follow up on my list of parts and files and dimensions and all that stuff. Hair Dude says, testing a couple of power amps tonight. First one isn't faulty, just the tech who tried to use it. Oh, you had a faulty tech. No. No. That never happens. When you excuse me, when you're testing something like that, do you start off really just plugging it in and trying it normally, or do you tear right into the insides and start checking things out? As one who's not, I don't do that sort of thing, but if I had to test one out, I guess I would just plug it in normally and see what happens. Just curious as to your process for someone brings it to you and says, this thing doesn't work. What is your first order of business when trying to determine that? Paul's here. Paul says, good morning all. Good morning, Paul. How are you doing this fine Wednesday morning? This coffee is super good today. Sorry. Right on. All right, so since I've got the binding tower done, now I'm kind of in wrap up some odds and ends projects to get them out of the way. Been getting, taking care of stuff like, getting the lawnmower ready for mowing season, cleaning up the shop, getting some lumber ready to be milled up for some upcoming projects. And, just kind of in the spring, I was going to say spring cleaning, but I'm not really doing spring cleaning. Just doing a little tidying up, getting ready to jump in and be able to start on the next acoustic guitar. There's another project that I want to make for my daughter. Actually, there's a couple, but I got to figure out when I'm going to work them in. And, yeah, I got to get some slabs that I'd cut several years ago, get those things machined or milled to size. Just getting things kind of organized. Sorry, I keep losing you there. I just repositioned the camera, so hopefully connection. I did hear that they're going to be running fiber optic internet along the way here, and hopefully we can get some of that fiber speed when they run it. It's supposed to be this summer. I don't know if we're scheduled to get it or not, but if there's anything I can do to get it here to help us get better connections, I'm surely going to do it. Harry Dude says, I always plug it in normally to verify the fault report before wasting time pulling it apart. I have to see the fault. Yeah, that sounds like a completely normal method. And it's exactly what I would want to do. I'd want to see it not working. Dallas says, hope you experience the fiber speed. I do too. That would be incredible. About maybe a month or month and a half ago, the one of the crews went up through the run. They're making a really long run. It's like, I don't know, maybe 20 miles along the road, where they're going to be bringing fiber, and like the surveying crew or whatever, utility locating, maybe that's what they were. But one of the crews has already gone up through and they've marked everything they need to mark, and I was already out talking to them when they were nearby the house, and I asked him, kind of what's going on, and they said they're running this fiber, and I asked him if we're going to be able to get it here, and he's just one of the surveying crew guys, so he couldn't really tell me, but I'm waiting for the day that they come through with the equipment doing, burying the cable or whatever. So I got fingers crossed, but who knows? It would be nice. Paul says, bringing up my home YouTube account so work won't interfere. Oh, gotcha. Plus gets you an extra like. Right on. Nice. And make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Something about algorithms, thumbs ups, you know, that sort of, I don't know. But if you haven't hit it, go ahead and hit that thing. Let's all tell YouTube that this is like the coolest live stream ever. No. I enjoyed it. Whoa. Almost fell out of the chair. So, Paul, what are you working on these days? You got some more bodies in the works? Guitar bodies, that is. Settings. There we go. Cool. Paul says, yes, that and finishing a couple of guitars for the store. Right on. I got to get, I want to get another electric going. But I also want to get a couple acoustics going. Maybe I'll just have to do both. You know what I thought of? It didn't occur to me till someone mentioned it the other day. Great Guitar Build-Off. Is that not happening this year? I didn't realize that, we're already into April. May, we're in May. And I haven't heard anything about it. Not that I was going to enter it this year. I don't really know, but I haven't heard anything, so maybe they're not doing it this year. Dallas says, so what tone woods combinations will be used for your next acoustic guitar? I have materials for two bodies anyway. I don't quite have all the material for the neck yet, but one is going to be all mahogany. Mahogany back and sides, mahogany top as well. I'm working on trying to figure out some dimensions on that one. I'm trying to take basically the OM body shape, and I want to try to convert that to a baritone. I really want to build a baritone guitar, and I've got an all mahogany set for that I think I'll use for that one. Is it mahogany? Yes. So mahogany back and sides and a mahogany top. So that one should be kind of cool, but I just got to work out some dimensions and try to figure out how to, what do I need to do with the scale length? Is everything going to fit on that OM shape? And really just kind of mock it up. I'll probably, work on drawing it up somewhat, in Fusion 360. And then another one is going to be some ambrosia maple that Paul sent me to use. And that one is going to have a Port Orford cedar top and ambrosia maple back and sides. Should look pretty awesome. And yeah, the neck on that one will probably be, I don't know, maybe just a regular mahogany neck. But that's the plan right now. I have those materials on hand, and pretty much ready to start in. Paul says, don't know. After the way they handled my entry, I unsubbed from all things Crimson. Yeah, I think I'm still subscribed, but I haven't seen anything about it. Heritage says GGBO is on. There's a 25-minute video on the Crimson channel from 4 days ago. Haven't watched it and haven't watched much of their content in a long time. I haven't either. I don't know. I haven't really seen anything come up that, it seems like their format, they've changed their format a bit, and maybe it's not my favorite. I don't know. But yeah, I haven't seen any information on it. I probably won't do it this year. I know it's hard to get all of the details and make everything work for something worldwide like that. I'm not knocking it in any way, so please don't don't post misquotes all over the internet. But yeah, I don't know. There's just other things that I want to get to, that I want to do, and you know, while I think that, you know, it's kind of fun, kind of you know, maybe some good publicity. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind later, but as of right now, I don't think I'll enter. Dallas says both are unique combinations. Looking forward to them. Yeah, thank you. I am too, actually. I've never played a guitar with a mahogany top. You know, all of the acoustics that I've ever played, I've had some sort of a, you know, softwood, you know, spruce or some kind of a something like that. I've never played anything, but in doing research, I think a mahogany top would make a pretty cool sound. You know, so I don't know. Plus, trying to figure out how to make a baritone, I think would be pretty awesome. And what I want to do when I get into that one is, I don't know how many of you have seen them. If you haven't, you got to check them out. But they make a baritone. You know, a baritone typically has like a 27-inch scale length, so that you can tune it down. I think it's a fourth or a fifth, and it's tuned B to B, kind of a standard tuning, but it's at B to B, so all your chord shapes work. But they make one that has 8 strings, and the two, let's see, the D and the G strings are in pairs, like a 12 string. And I think that is super cool. I've always loved the sound of a 12 string. Ever since I can remember, my uncle used to play guitar and he always played a 12 string. So I've got that 12 string sound, you know, it's just tucked away in my memories. And I think combining a baritone with, and still getting that 12 string jangle, I think would be pretty cool. And I really want to try to build one of those. Brian's here. Brian says, "Happy Wednesday, everyone. What's on the bench this week?" Well, Brian, it's kind of a since I just finished up the new version of the Binding Tower this week. At least the last couple of days have been kind of just shop cleanup. You know, tackling some little projects that I need to get things off my plate so that I can start in on new guitars. You know, just the boring stuff like getting the lawnmower ready for summer, and I got to wrap up that project that Haley and I worked on, I don't know, a month or so ago, where we were fixing that bridge that she used for, or that she uses for horseback riding. I got to get some more materials. We got to get back to that. You know, just little odds and ends before tackling a new guitar build. Highline Guitars, Chris, what is going on? Highline Guitars says, "In my opinion, guitar building is a form of artistic expression, not a competition." I agree with you. I agree 100%. Yeah, you know, the when it gets put into a competition, kind of like that, you know, it takes some of the fun out of it. Maybe. My approach the last couple of years has just been, I'm gonna build what I want to build and put it up there. You know, I'm not I wasn't, you know, I'm not setting out to you know, to compete with anybody. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how to voice that, but yeah, I like the idea because it gets people kind of got people, especially in some of the categories, got people out there to just build something, right? There were a ton of new guitars that never existed before, that now exist. People that have never built an instrument before got out there and put something together, and I think that's super cool. It just the competitiveness around it, and the I got to be careful there. I don't. It brings a different air to the whole thing. I don't have a problem with anybody, you know, with a group of people banding together to show off their creative works. It's just that competitive thing, and you know, how many people can you get to vote for the thing, and yeah, I don't like that. Brian says, I need to do shop cleanup as well. My yard is literally knee-high due to all the rain in April. Well, mine's not. Mine is we're not even green here, at least where I live. Um, the leaves are really not even coming out yet. Our seasons here, at least my opinion, the seasons come really late, especially spring, and it takes forever for things to green up. I mean, we're still not out of the woods for any snow. There's a good chance we could still see snow before the end of this month. It definitely has happened almost every year, it seems, but I don't know if we will this year or not. But because the weather is really starting to get nice, but that's what it usually does. It gets really nice, and then a cold snap or something comes through, and it's not uncommon. Several years ago, the next to last day of the school year was a snow day here because we had a like our heaviest, biggest snow of the whole year, and it was crazy. So I don't know. I'm nowhere near the mowing season yet, but I did take some time yesterday to go through and get the riding mower. I had to do some repairs on it. I'm gonna try to put together a little video, just kind of a another day in the life kind of thing. Just some stuff that's got to be done. That's not necessarily here in the shop, but yeah, we all have that kind of stuff, right? There's other things that we have to do, around the house and in life that we just got to tackle. And I decided that I would try to film some of that stuff and just have some fun and just sharing other things that I'm working on. I'm not 100% sitting here or standing here in the shop working on stuff as much as I'd like to be. We all got, we got other things to take care of. Highline says, bingo. Yeah. Just takes away takes the fun out of it. Sempak and Rick is here. Rick says, hey, I'm late, but I'm here. Right on, Rick. Welcome. How's your day going so far? You're, I think, a little earlier. Dallas says, I can't wait to see you fight those 8 thick, strong springs. They're not horrible. I've never done 8, but I do own a baritone electric guitar, and yes, the strings are bigger. I think the low string is somewhere around. I want to say I have like a 72. It's like maybe a 72 to 13 or something like that string set. I could be wrong on that, but it's close. And they're not horrible to work with, but 8 of them I think is going to be a little bit different. Paul says it's been raining a bit here, but cold is over. Mowed 3 times already this year. Wow. Yeah, talking to my family back east. Yeah, they're into the mowing season already, and we're nowhere near it. Like we're probably a month at least from having to mow, maybe roughly around there. Rick says we had 25 to 28 degree weather the last few days, 77 Fahrenheit. That's what we're having too. We're getting a very nice week here. We're in the 70s, mid to upper 70s. I think we hit yesterday. It's already getting quite nice out there. It's probably 50 or so out right now, or maybe a little more. Rick says, I'm later than you, 8:24. No, you are 1 hour behind us. It is 9:25 here. Paul says, just built a baritone, the first one for a client. Interesting guitar. There is something that I really like about a baritone. The one that I have is one I built the body for. I think this was not my very first guitar, but this was the second guitar body I made. I did not build the neck on this one. I hadn't. This was quite a few years ago. I used a Telecaster conversion neck, and so I basically made a T-style body, and then I bolted on this conversion neck. It's like 27. It's about 27 3/4 scale length. so everything fits on the body in the exact same spot, right? So your bridge, pickups, all that is the same. You could basically take a standard telly, pull the neck off, bolt this conversion neck on there, and everything intonates and lines up and everything. So I went that route, and man, it just has a cool sound. When it's tuned B to B, just voicing regular chords, your standard chord shapes, it's not the exact same chord. When you play a C chord shape, you're not playing a C on the baritone, but you get the idea. It just has a cool sound. I can't even describe it. I really like the sound of it, and that's why I wanted to try to build an acoustic baritone. I think that'd be pretty awesome. Sam's here. Sam says, is it embarrassing asking a store for replacement G strings? Yeah, depends on what kind of store you're going to, I guess. If you go to a music store, probably not. If you go to some sort of, yeah. You go to the department store and you tell them you need a new G string, that could be a little awkward. Henry's here too. Henry says morning. What's up, man? How are you doing this fine Wednesday morning? What are you working on these days? Highland says you're blushing. We're talking about G strings. That's not awkward. At least I'm talking about guitar strings. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I mean, come on. That's funny. I should have gathered up some show and tell stuff, so I got some things to show you, but I really don't. I've got everything pretty well cleaned up around here. Rick says, oh, Sam says, guitars are great, as you can take your pick. Yeah, I see what you did there. Sam's on a roll. I need the little drum. Take that show on the road. Henry says, making a benchtop workbench because I'm going to move into an apartment using the CNC to cut out the dog holes. Nice. I got to get mine fired back up for some projects. Henry, Hair Dude says, did you try the binding tower with the router mount flipped? You know what? That was something I meant to do. We're going to do it right now. Live on television. We are going to do that right now. How are we going to do this? We're going to figure this out. Come here, Ford. Oh, boy. We're going to do this live. I need some tools here. Not that one. Oh, boy. We're going to need that. We are going to need you. We're going to need, I think, we're going to need you. All right. So continue chatting. I'm just going to do this while we are while we're hanging out. So what Hair Dude's talking about is if you can flip this around so that this angle goes up, and then will that bring the router lower? And in theory, the positioning of parts is not going to change. But I want to verify that it is going to work exactly like I think it will. So I'm going to slowly disassemble this while we're hanging out. Rick says, doing the second epoxy pour today. Nice. That's going to be pretty cool. So I saw in your post that you were thinking you were going to have to sand it all down and basically repaint the red after having the epoxy all cured. I could see where you might have to do that, being able, or where you need to get the epoxy leveled out to sand it nice and smooth, flush with the body. Yeah. Otherwise, it is going to be kind of tricky to get the epoxy unless you can pour it exactly level and to where it's flush with the red. So I could see where you might need to do that. But I'll be anxious to see how it turns out. Paul says, I may do the freestyle build in the Great Guitar Build Off. For example, building a guitar for a client, but not doing anything that costs me money anymore. That way still gets me free press. Yeah, that's a good idea though, actually. Just to get their name out there. That's the thing that I liked about it. I didn't really have high expectations, but I did like some of the publicity. I don't even like that word really, but just having your name out there, it just kind of helps spread the word. And yeah, the freestyle, that might be kind of good. Was it freestyle? What the heck did they call that? Yeah, maybe it was freestyle. Sam says, gets my popcorn and waits for the bloopers. Rick says, yes, I bought the additional paint yesterday. The black is where I want it. But if there's a next time, I'll pour first. All right, so I'm going to have to... So I've got this thing off of there. Still has the spring attached. I'm just going to loosen that up a little bit so that I can rotate it around the other way. Another option would be maybe to drill another hole on this end so that I could pull the spring right off, reinstall it here so that you could the little wrench. Which one was it? This one? Yes. Let's loosen that up. So I'm going to just carefully turn that around. This is kind of fun, actually. I should do more stuff that's like live. I don't know what I would do though, but Rick says, live and learn. Yep, that's what we do. That's what I do every day. Sam says, why do men always lose the tool or items they just had in their hands 5 minutes ago? I don't know. Because that's how we roll. You know what I'm saying? I do that all the time. Set something down. Usually I got a bunch of other junk in the way. So, and then that clutters the work area. And the thing we just had that we're trying to find is gone. Surely that doesn't happen to you guys. Something's binding there. I got my screw in the wrong spot. Come on. You can do it. Yeah, everything's fitting together so far. So I don't see where this is not going to work. How's that? I lost something. Sorry, this is probably a little bit unprofessional with me doing stuff. Rick says tilt the camera. I'll try to do that a little bit and still be in frame. There, how's that? A little better? Sam says a flamethrower guitar would be awesome. Pulling off some like Rammstein kind of antics there with the flamethrower. I think they have one, or some sort of attachment that makes it look like the guitar is throwing flames. There we go. Oh, I broke my top cap. How'd I do that? It's okay, we'll print another. Tighten that down. Now we'll just take this back off, the little donut. So when I did this time around, if you saw the video, I'd made these little drill guides, which I'll show you here in just a second, once I pull this donut off. But having these drill guides that were pulled right off of my model that has all the dimensions that I used, man, what a difference that made in the speed, oh, don't lose the screws, of being able to get everything laid out. In the first version that I did, I used my calipers to lay everything out, and it took a long time. But this time around, I used these guys, which fit right on here, indexes right there on the edge, and then you can mark all of your hole locations. And this just made what a difference. There was zero laying out. I don't know, you probably can't see the holes lining up there, but that made a huge difference. I made one of these for both. This one goes on this side to drill the holes for the bearing and this little center hole. And what process improvement. All right, so I got this thing flipped back over. I'm gonna put the donut back on the bottom, which was the top. I'm gonna drop these screws. I've already dropped two. Line that up. There we go. We're just gonna go, I got two of them in there, but I'm gonna leave that as is for now. I don't have the screw quite adjusted exactly. It's binding up a little bit in there, but for demonstration purposes, this is gonna be fine. And at the moment, I see no reason why. Oh, side note, on the Bosch Colt router, the spindle, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I want to let you know. The spindle is not directly centered between these four mounting holes. If you draw a diagonal line across there, the center of this spindle, it's offset from where those diagonals are. The very first time I did this on the first version, when I drew it up and got my measurements, I made the mistake and assumed that it was right in the center. It's not. It is offset to the back edge, the side that the cord is coming out of here. So it is a little off center. So once you have this thing drilled, this base plate, this router can only go on one way. Well, I shouldn't say that. You can bolt it on the other way. Let me see if I can, actually I'll show you. It's roughly lined up there. And if you look in there, and I turn it around, probably can't see that very well. See how that's off-centered? I put it this way. I don't know, that's not a great example. Now, technically, it may not have been a great example, but it is off by a little bit. Let's just put a couple of these screws into the router. I'm trying to do this so you guys can see what's going on, even though it is a little awkward for me to hold this in my lap. But I told Harry Dude that I was going to try this last week. I think he asked about it, and I didn't. So we're doing it now. And you guys get to come along for the ride. Learn with me. I see no reason why this won't work. But until I've actually tested it, I cannot say with 100% confidence. We almost got it here. Okay, so now we'll just snug these guys down. A couple of them anyway. I only got a couple screws in there. All right, so what I'm seeing it will, in fact, go all the way down. What I'm seeing is that when it drops that low, and I saw this before, and that is the cord is hitting my little top cap. So I may want to consider, you might have to do something with this cord to kind of keep it out of the way a little bit. But yeah, it's going all the way down. The spindle is aligned in the center, if you can see that. But it's going down far enough. Let's see. That's, I don't know, roughly an inch and a half off of the bottom. So yeah, totally goes down far enough to be able to route, a solid body, regular electric guitar without the sled. If it was just running flat on your table. Like I say, the only thing that I'm seeing is this, the cable binds, it doesn't really bind, but it does drag on here, which may prevent the spring from doing what it needs to do. But it works. It seems like it would work just fine. You'd have to drill holes on the opposite side if you wanted to use the locking mechanism, because I have them over on this side. But yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't work. You could take a zip tie or something like that and just hold this cable out of the way. Maybe zip tie it to the edge of the machine or something like that. But yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't work. Yeah, with that cable not touching, it seems to be just fine. I gotta fine tune on this screw. So the way this runs, let me pull this back off. I can't get it off there. I've gotten it stuck. Get off there. There we go. I'm trying to not drop stuff on the floor. Hang on, bear with me, guys. So if you can see this screw in the back, this gap right here is what goes down inside the T-track, and this is inside of the actual T-track on the extrusion. So you've got to get this adjusted to where it doesn't drag on the back or the front. So it has just a little bit of a, there's a little fine window, but with a little bit of adjustment in there, I've been able to get it to slide perfectly smooth in there with no binding, no drag or anything. So I guess I kind of have a little bit of a thicker, the nut that I use to tighten this down is a little bit thicker. I could actually use a little bit thinner one and would give me a little bit more clearance. But yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't work. I'll probably put that back together later. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I'm gonna get caught back up here. Dallas says, after watching the binding tower build, I decided to use a simple router guide assembly. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all. Sam says that workshop's missing a mini kitchen. It is. It'd be kind of cool. I could make some eggs while I'm working on something. Sam says blooper stream is at a later date. Rick says there's a centering pin to fix that, isn't there? To fix the router alignment. Is that what you're referring to? It's just the way that the base plate is drilled on this router. I don't know why it's offset, but it is. So it did throw me for a loop at first. Harry Dude says, please don't tell me you use flathead screws for the donut. I hate flathead screws. Well, yes, these are flathead screws. And I, too, dislike flathead screws. But I had these. I didn't have to buy them. It's the only reason I used them. I can't stand them. You know, you're always trying to run them in there, and this slips out. And yeah, I don't like them either. But I already had these, and they were the right size that I needed. So I went with what I had on hand. But I'd much rather have Phillips head. Yeah. Rick says, good reason to buy a cordless router, another tool. Well, I do have a cordless router. But I didn't make the base plate to fit this. You totally could. As long as you have the center point, which is right here, and the holes for mounting the donut, you could just base any other router off of this and drill everything to fit whatever router you want to put in there. I might drill it for my cordless. I don't know. I like this thing. I do like this Bosch Colt. But yeah, you could totally modify it for whatever trim router you wanted to use, whether cordless or corded. But yes, I think a cordless option would be kind of cool. I wish they made a cordless Bosch Colt. And I think Bosch does have a cordless router, but I don't know if it. I don't know. I'd have to double check. Don't quote me on that. Sam says, would you measure in millimeters rather than inches? It's kind of a tough one. My default is inches because that's what I've grown up with. That's what I have used almost my entire life. It is the, I dare say, default measurement. Not by everybody here in the US, but it's just the main one that I go to. I have been really trying hard to use millimeters on a more regular basis. I do feel that it's much easier to use, but all of my um, dimensions are in inches. I have tried to include, especially in the plans that I put together for this, I have tried to include some metric measurements, but most of mine are in inches. Sam says I need to get a cordless router. Man, they are a great tool. They're super handy. Um, I haven't tried all of the brands that are out there. I have the rigid cordless trim router, and I love that thing. It's so good. I'm not sponsored or anything by them. But I really like it, and it's been a great tool. It's so cool to be able to just grab it, and work wherever. If I need to pull it outside to work on something outside to help avoid dust, I don't have to string cords, and I can't recommend a cordless router enough. Sam says, "Here's a donut to be mounted." Right on. Thank you. I will take that donut. Rick says, "Isn't America one of the only countries that haven't gone metric?" Yes. About a year, 2 years ago, maybe. I, d- I did a video, and I was talking about my use of the metric system. I did a project that was completely in metric. Um, I've done others since then, but I did a video specifically talking about it. Man, people roasted me because I keep calling it standard. And here in the U.S., well, I don't know about the rest of you in the U.S., but you call it standard. That's what it's called, right? I'm not speaking for other countries. I know it's not standard in other countries, but those of you in the U.S., when you're talking about imperial measurements, what do you call it? People still give me a hard time on that, and no matter of explanation, saying that, yeah. Anyway. But yes, it is. Apparently, as about a bazillion people on that video pointed out, it's like the U.S., Myanmar, and I don't know, Libya or something are like the only three or something like that. I don't know. Corey says this. The thing is, the stuff I work on go down to like 10 thousandths of an inch. I know, and I know how to measure that. Sort of, calipers, but I don't know how I would convert that to metric. I mean, I just don't know. I'm just not familiar enough with some of the very small measurements. Like I can do millimeters, and I'm confident enough and comfortable enough working in millimeters, even half of a millimeter. But you start getting down to like to 10 thousandths. I'm not trying to get into a debate over metric or standard. I'm just merely conversing. So don't give me a hard time. There's enough people on that video that do. Sam says, "I'm from the UK." Yeah, metric. Dallas says, "Actually, I got shocked like you when first seeing something like 3/64ths." Yeah, I mean, it's 3/64ths and 4/64ths. And I mean, I do measure my guitars when I'm doing a setup. I use the 64ths. But, well, I guess I'm not measuring it. I have the little setup gauge that has these 64th increments on it. Paul says, "I use whatever measurement. Whatever I grab, I use that." Mucho accurate. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with either one. In fact, I mean, I keep metric rulers at the ready. And sometimes I'll just grab it and I'll measure something, you know? But, yeah. I just don't like to get into the metric versus standard debate because I do know that the metric system is used by pretty much the rest of the world. And we're one of the few. And it apparently sparks a very heated topic. At least among video viewers. Rick says, I'm with you, standard. See? It's just what you call it. Harry Dude says, U.S., Myanmar, and Liberia. Oh, yeah, Liberia, not Libya. Yeah, and I don't debate anybody. I don't care what system anybody uses. I just, you know, when they call it standard, because it is the standard in their country, I don't give them a hard time and say, well, that's not standard because not everybody uses it. Oh, anyway, we've talked about this before. I don't want to go down this road again. Sam says you might want to get a magnetic wristband for fixtures with irons such as screws. I have seen those little magnetic cuff thingies, and you just bloop, stick your stuff on there. It's kind of neat. I've also seen little attachments where you can put it on like your cordless drills so that it just holds the screws and things. It's kind of a handy little thing, it looks like. Harry Dude says, I grew up using both. Prefer metric, but had to get used to Imperial when working on my old cars. Yeah, the old cars. Using the Imperial. I try to call it that now. Instead of standard, because I realize how many people will argue that it's not standard. Not you guys. Not you guys. I'm not talking about you. But if you want a couple of chuckles, go back and find that video where I was talking about using metric and see, read through some of the comments. It's kind of funny. It's like if you just need a few chuckles, like everybody's saying it's not the standard. It's only 3 countries. Blah blah blah. Dallas says, I noticed that inch is good for building guitars because most of the references are written in. If we're doing setups and stuff, depending on the materials, the reference materials you're going off of, yes, they are an inch. But when I built the acoustic guitar, the plan that I was working off of was almost in its entirety in metric. So I had to do a ton of metric measurements. I've got this sweet, I don't know what you call this, a meter stick. It's not a yardstick because it's all metric. And I used this a lot putting together the acoustic because it is, what is it, 100 centimeters? 100 centimeters. Is that a meter stick? Is that a meter? That's a legitimate question. That's not a knock on this thing. I don't know how many centimeters is a meter. Centimeters. It's got to be 100. Is a meter? Never mind. Metric. I got it. Just don't comment on that. Rick says, "Do you use Robert's head screws much in the States?" I'm sort of familiar with them. Robert's head, is that the square? The square drive? Is that Robert's? I have used them, and I do like those. Heritage says, "Don't go down this road again." Which side of the road are you using? Apparently, I'm on either side of the road. Sam says, "Don't let Elon Musk near her shop. It looks wonderful. Awesome workshop. Not like Musk's pile of debris." Well, thank you. Dallas says, "Maybe it felt like torture to you." Heritage says we call that a meter rule. Okay, perfect. Rick says this. Yes, the square drive, most popular here, designed by a Canadian. Phillips was American. Yes, I do like the square drive screws. I also like, I don't have any right here. I like the Torx drive. I really like those too. I think either one of those are much better than pretty much anything's better than a flathead. And it's better than a Phillips, I think, as well. Either of those. I would have no problem if all screws went to that. Except I have a ton of Phillips head screwdrivers that I wouldn't need anymore, but yeah, it's fine. Sam says, square drives are expensive, though. I haven't done the price comparison on that, so I can't really speak into the cost of that. Although I know I did use, when Haley and I were working on the bridge, we did use the Torx drive. There's probably a name for it, but we did use Torx drive screws for that, and I thought those were kind of expensive, but it may have just been where I bought them. Sam Packin says, "Not here, Sam. They're not expensive." Right on. Rick says Torx are more money. You know what I've used that are the square drive? And that's those Craig, like, pocket hole type screws. Those are square drive, and I like those. Harry Dude says, "I'm in Australia. Everything is more expensive." I think I could say that here too. Everything now is just through the roof, it seems. It's really, really hard to try to keep costs down when costs are high all over the place. But anyway, guys, we have come up on the hour. So I think it's about time to wrap this up. I'm going to put my binding jig back together, and yeah, I might have to start machining some slabs down for some upcoming projects. But anyway, I want to say thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the metric imperial conversation. And please know that I'm not trying to stir up the pot with anybody. So please don't. I hope nobody nobody feels like that's what I was trying to do, because that's totally not the case. But I'm equally acceptable to both, as well as Phillips head, Robert's head, Torx head, screws. Right on, guys. Again, if you haven't already hit that thumbs up button, go ahead and hit that thing before you sign off for the day. And if you haven't seen the video for the binding jig, check it out. Posted on Sunday, posted Sunday over on the YouTube channel. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I really appreciate hanging out with you guys. Enjoy it every single time. Sam says, "Be safe." Rick says, "Have a great day." Dallas says, "Thanks, have a good day." Harry Dude, cheers, folks. Stay well. Catch you next week. Rick says, "You're working on a price." Yes, I will be posting something on that very soon, so stay tuned. Right on, guys. Have an awesome week. Get out in your shops, build some cool things, work on some projects, and just in general, have fun making or fixing things. Stay safe, stay well. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time. Hey, that was pretty good.